All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Betting by the Numbers, a sports betting YouTube and Discord channel dedicated to taking the decision-making process out of the hands of idiots like me and putting it in the hands of people who win. We are back. Actually, this is a PM edition of Betting by the Numbers. A lot of lines came out late tonight before the soccer games tomorrow and some of the early basketball lines because there were day breaks between the games. So we're going to take advantage of that and try to get some bets down before these lines do all their movement when the public starts hitting it heavy in the morning. So to try to stay ahead of it, we're going to get these picks now. Yesterday, or I guess today, still kind of up in the air. Really unlucky with the Virgil van Dijk tackle. I thought that was really looking good. And just like last 4 clearances, and not one of them's a tackle. That's just a lot of discretionary decision-making, and there were, I think, like 30-something tackles on behalf of Liverpool, so the fact that he didn't get one is just unfortunate. But everything else, I mean, the soccer picks are still hitting at well over 80% in the last couple days, so we just need to find the right lines to pair those with and let the math take hold. So we are going to get into our picks for today. We're not going to preview the slate since, it's pretty straightforward now. Guess what? We got the Western Conference Finals tomorrow with the Nuggets and Lakers. That is the only NBA game. Then we have a slate of baseball and likely some day games. So we'll look into that. If I have more picks throughout the day, I post them over on Pick'It. I post them on Twitter. So just follow our social medias and you'll be able to find all of our tweets, or all of our picks, rather. So let's get into the picks. We are going to head over to my simplified little spreadsheet here to get our soccer picks. I've done the work for you. I've found the lines that have the difference in odds to try to find some expected value between the sports books and PrizePicks. What I mean by that, for those who have not watched before, over at PrizePicks, whether or not I bet the over or the under, whatever I click on this, these odds are not going to change, right? I'm going to pay the exact same no matter what. So to me, I'm going to be looking for odds that are a consensus across the board, better value than that, right? If it's minus 119 that I'm playing at PrizePicks and I want to find something that's minus 120, minus 130, minus 140, right? There's more value there because the rest of the sports books are moving that line saying, hey, we don't love where this is going. We might even adjust the number itself. And we're just going to follow that with the stagnation that PrizePicks has. And just try to exploit that. I mean, it's a proven system that works, especially using OddsJam. So there's just no reason that you should be approaching sports betting from a different way. So let's get into the soccer picks. First, we have a big Champions League game tomorrow. That's where we're getting most of our lines from. Between Inter and AC Milan, we have Olivier Giroud as our first pick, as over 0.5 shots on target. And what I'm going to explain here quickly is how we get to this number. And I can show you the math just in a quick skim for those who just want to see what these soccer picks are looking like, right? What we're doing is we are taking our odds and putting them into our formulas. From there, they get turned into a decimal, and that decimal gets added up to 1, or what should be 1. However, when sportsbooks put their odds out, they're going to make sure they win no matter what, right? So instead of those two odds adding up together, they actually add up to 1.06, meaning that 0.06 is your VIG, which means no matter what happens in that bet, the sportsbook's going to take that money from you. Well, we don't want to factor that into our expected value because that's just, nothingness. So we want to get down to the true numbers of what they're betting, and that is where we get it from here. So you can see these numbers then get turned back into a decimal and then turned back into the American odds form that we know and love, and you will see that 0.56 and 0.43 now meet. So when we get to then you can see those numbers, and I have them all printed right here for you. So we can see that the odds without the VIG for Olivier Giroud is minus 129. And what did I tell you? We need to be minus 119. So that is going to create a 13 or an 8% value on the over. And so we're going to be following that and putting that into our lineup. Same thing here with Nicolo Barella, over 1.5 tackles. Once we put that into our pretty little spreadsheet, it prints out the no VIG odds of minus 126 for the over. Again, we need to beat minus 119. That's a 5% EV. and we just put those and as many of those into a lineup as we can, that's going to create a very valuable pick versus the sports book. And those are generally the ones that do better over time. So we then look at our other lines. To note, the reason I don't give odds for it is that because the lines are so different, you really can't compare these odds of minus 120, minus 130, because the numbers are so different. So here you see we have two players with two passes off, basically. So Matteo Darmian is at 40.5, and the sportsbook line is at 42.5, and Nicolo Barella is at 37.5. Now, this is where I differentiate from some people because I don't want to put both of them in there. I think that the value is somewhat similar, and after looking at the players' historical trends as well, I think that there's a difference there, and I'm going to take Matteo Darmian as the over 40.5 passes. I just think he's better suited to hit that line, and I'd rather not be sweating out an under in what I will think is a possession-heavy game. So with all of that, we're going to go and add all of these to our prize picks. So we're going to head over to soccer. And the first thing we're going to get is Olivier Giroud over shots on goal. Then we are going to grab Barella and all right. So we have all three of those added. We just need to find our next three picks. So from there, we're actually going to head over to the sportsbook screen. And I've already pre-selected these, so I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. But the first one we're going to be looking for is actually Austin Reeves and his over-made threes. So you can see here at the other sports books, William Hill minus 138, minus 135 at BetMGM. And even with that big taken out, that's, we're good there. So then we look at the minus 119 at PrizePicks, and we're easily going to beat that, right? So I love putting that in as our first leg. He's hit this number, I believe, in 4 of the last 5, and when he hits it, it's usually 3 or 4, so hopefully he doesn't make us sweat for it, but Austin Reeves is going to be our first addition. Then we are going to head over to the points category and find our last 2, which you will see. All right, so you can see here, the next one we're going to be looking at is, again, with those minus 130 lines, getting us up into the area, and they're actually right next to each other. But you can see, you're just not seeing this kind of value across the board. So we're going to follow it, and we're going to take Dennis Schroeder and D'Angelo Russell over shots. It's 8.5 for Dennis Schroeder and 14.5 for D'Angelo Russell. I think it's the best value on the board right now when it comes to shots. Everything else is pretty stagnant at minus 119, minus 120. The only other one would be this Bruce Brown line, but it's kind of bouncing across the board. So I mean, you can see Dennis Schroeder minus 156 at Pinnacle and minus 150 for D'Angelo Russell. That's the one that really excites me. So I'm going to throw that up there and make sure we point that out. I mean, minus 156 and minus 150, we're going to roll with that. So let's head back over to our prize picks and add in our last 2. So we need Dennis Schroeder's points and D'Angelo Russell's points. There he is. Okay. So you guys got to see how the bacon is made. You guys got to see how these picks were made, but let's go through them one more time to make sure everything's clear. We don't have any misclicks. We have Olivier Giroud over 0.5 shots on target. Nicolo Barella over 1.5 tackles against Milan. Over 40.5 passes attempted for Matteo Darmian. Austin Reeves over 1.5, 3 shots, 3-pointers made. Dennis Schroeder over 8.5 points, and D'Angelo Russell over 14.5 points. That is going to be our selection for 516. A 6 out of 6 will pay a 25 times payout, so a $20 entry would win you $500. This feels like a really good selection. We're going to hope that kind of games go according to plan in the day, and we get to the night, and we just need some role players to execute where we need them to. So thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, guys. This channel is really blowing up pretty quickly, and I'm really happy. I'm going to keep doing this every day for you guys. So if you guys could just do that little bit of telling friends, liking, subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks, guys. Let's win some bets.